All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to dive in, especially when it comes to DAX.
Yeah, we're really getting into the nitty-gritty today. We're talking about the blank function. It sounds pretty simple, right? Well, maybe not as much as you think.
Definitely not as straightforward as it might seem at first glance.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is this blank function all about? When would you actually use it?
Well, like its name suggests, it's all about creating blanks, specifically within your DAX formulas. The syntax is super simple, blank, and that's it.
So just like that, you've got yourself a blank. But why would you want to do that in the first place?
Good question. It all comes down to how DAX handles missing data, and that's where things get kind of interesting.
Interesting how, blank is a blank, right?
Not necessarily. See, in Excel, a blank cell is just that, empty. But in DAX, a blank can represent two different things. It could be a true database null, meaning the value is genuinely unknown, or it could just be an empty cell carried over from Excel.
Wait, so DAX is combining two different ideas into this one concept of a blank.
Yeah, and that can have some implications when you're analyzing data.
Okay, now I'm really curious. How does this actually affect our analysis? Give me an example.
Well, let's say you're looking at sales data, and you want to calculate the average sales per customer. Some entries might be missing, right? In Excel, those empty cells wouldn't get factored into your average. But in DAX, those blanks, whether they're true nulls or just empty cells, get treated as zeros. And that can really skew your results.
So your average sales figures could end up lower than they actually are.
Exactly. And you might not even realize what's happening unless you're really paying attention to how those blanks are being handled.
Wow, okay. I'm starting to see why this is more complex than it seems at first.
And the trickiest part is figuring out what those blanks really represent in your data.
Right. Are they truly missing values, or are they just empty cells? I guess it depends on where that data came from.
Precisely. And that's where data cleaning and preparation become crucial. Before you even start using the blank function, you might need to sort out those different types of blanks.
So that you're not accidentally skewing your calculations, right?
Exactly, because once those blanks are in your DAX formulas, they can have a ripple effect throughout your entire analysis.
And it's not just about the blank function itself, right? It's about how this whole concept of blanks affects any DAX formula we might build.
You got it. Imagine you're creating a complex formula with conditional logic or aggregations. The way DAX treats blanks could lead to unexpected results if you're not careful.
So the blank function is almost like a gateway to understanding a much bigger issue in DAX.
I like that way of putting it. It's a seemingly basic function that forces you to think deeply about how DAX handles missing data, which is fundamentally different from Excel.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap for everyone listening. We talked about the blank function in DAX, its purpose, and the really important distinction between blanks and nulls, and how this difference can really impact our data analysis, especially when we're building those more complex DAX formulas.
Absolutely. It all comes back to understanding those nuances. And as you delve deeper into DAX, keep this in mind. How might this behavior of blank affect other calculations, like those involving conditional logic or aggregation? It's a question worth exploring.
It definitely is. It's a good reminder that even something as seemingly simple as a blank can open up a whole world of complexity within DAX.
Exactly. DAX is full of surprises, and that's part of what makes it so powerful and fascinating to work with.
Great food for thought. Thanks so much for joining me for this deep dive.
My pleasure. Always a great time talking DAX.
And to everyone listening, keep those DAX questions coming. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.